This simplification is not about dumbing things down, it's about refining ideas until they are precise and digestible. Smart people often use analogies, storytelling, or visuals to communicate effectively. They don't try to impress with complexity, they aim to connect with clarity. This makes them excellent teachers, leaders, and communicators because they can help others see what they see and think more clearly themselves. Additionally, simplifying complexity allows smart individuals to act decisively. When others hesitate due to confusion or uncertainty, they move forward with a well-defined understanding of the situation. They know what the priorities are, what the trade-offs involve, and what the next steps should be. This ability to cut through complexity and bring clarity is not just a sign of intelligence, it's a practical strength that drives progress, reduces mistakes, and empowers those around them to think and act with confidence. Smart people turn complexity into simplicity. They have the rare ability to take complicated ideas, situations, or problems and break them down into clear, understandable parts. While others may get overwhelmed by too many variables, technical jargon, or conflicting information, smart individuals look for the underlying structure, the core truth hiding beneath the confusion. This doesn't mean they ignore complexity. Rather, they engage with it deeply, understand it thoroughly, and then express it in a way that is both accessible and actionable. Smart people also understand that emotions carry valuable information. They don't ignore their feelings or pretend they don't exist. Instead, they use them as signals to understand themselves and their environments better. Whether it's a sense of unease that prompts further investigation or a moment of excitement that signals alignment with their purpose, they know how to interpret emotions without being controlled by them. This balanced emotional approach is what allows them to remain focused, thoughtful, and productive even in the most challenging moments. This emotional intelligence also enables them to be more empathetic. They can recognize and understand the emotions of others, which makes them better communicators and collaborators. They don't just hear what people say, they sense what they feel. This makes their leadership more compassionate, their teamwork more effective, and their personal connections more genuine. They approach disagreements with calmness, listen without defensiveness, and offer feedback without hostility. Emotional regulation is a powerful tool that allows smart people to avoid impulsive reactions. They know that anger, frustration, or fear can cloud judgment and lead to poor choices. So rather than reacting emotionally, they take time to assess what they're feeling and why. This inner awareness allows them to process emotions without being overwhelmed by them. They might take a walk, write down their thoughts, or simply take a few deep breaths, anything that gives them space to think clearly and respond wisely. Smart people manage their emotions effectively and think with clarity even under pressure. They understand that intelligence is not just about logic or reasoning, it also involves emotional awareness and control. When faced with stress, conflict, or uncertainty, they don't allow their emotions to take over their judgment. Instead, they pause, reflect, and respond with intention. This ability to stay composed helps them make better decisions, maintain positive relationships, and navigate difficult situations with grace. Lifelong learning also builds resilience. When faced with challenges or unfamiliar situations, smart people don't panic, they research, ask for guidance, and figure things out. Their ability to keep learning means they're rarely left behind, no matter how fast the world moves. They treat every mistake as a lesson and every experience as a teacher, never assuming that they know everything. This humility and hunger for learning keep their minds sharp and their perspectives fresh, allowing them to remain not only intelligent but also wise, capable, and forward-thinking. This mindset sets them apart in both personal and professional life. While others may become complacent or stuck in their ways, smart individuals are always adapting. They welcome new technologies, evolving ideas, and different ways of thinking because they see change as a chance to improve. They take initiative to learn beyond what is required, whether it's learning a new language, developing a technical skill, or studying a topic completely unrelated to their field. This broad base of knowledge helps them make better decisions and connect ideas across disciplines, often leading to creative solutions and innovative thinking. Smart people are lifelong learners who constantly seek to expand their knowledge and skills. They understand that intelligence is not a destination but a journey, and they are never satisfied with what they already know. Instead of relying on past achievements or degrees, they approach each day as an opportunity to grow. They read, observe, ask questions, and explore new topics with genuine curiosity. Their desire to learn is not driven by external rewards or recognition, but by an inner drive to understand the world more deeply and to stay relevant in a constantly changing environment. Moreover, smart people know that by listening, they create space for trust and respect. When others feel heard, they are more likely to open up, share honestly, and work more effectively as part of a team. Smart thinkers use this dynamic to foster stronger relationships, resolve conflicts, and influence others not by overpowering them with intellect, but by making them feel valued and understood. Listening is not a sign of weakness or uncertainty. It is a deliberate and strategic choice that reflects confidence, patience, and emotional intelligence. It's this quiet strength that often gives smart people a clearer voice when they finally choose to speak. Through listening, smart thinkers gather diverse perspectives and learn things they might never have considered on their own. They pay attention not only to words, but also to tone, body language, and emotion. This deep level of listening allows them to pick up on nuances, understand unspoken concerns, and respond with empathy and relevance. They are genuinely interested in what others have to say, not just waiting for their turn to talk. This makes them better collaborators, leaders, and problem solvers because they base their decisions on a fuller understanding of the situation. Smart people listen more than they speak. They understand that listening is not a passive act, but an active and powerful tool for learning, understanding, and building meaningful connections. In a world where everyone is eager to share their opinions, smart individuals take a different approach. They prioritize listening to others because they recognize that every conversation offers a chance to gain insight. They don't interrupt to prove a point or dominate discussions to assert their intelligence. Instead, they observe, absorb, and reflect before they respond. They know that being right isn't about being louder or more popular. It's about being thoughtful, informed, and willing to adjust when necessary. By being willing to think independently, smart people often become leaders in thought and innovation. Their courage to stand alone creates space for new ideas to emerge and for others to question their own assumptions. In this way, their independent thinking not only sets them apart, but also inspires change in the people and systems around them. Once they do, they are willing to stand by those conclusions, even if others don't immediately agree. They are not swayed easily by trends or peer pressure because their thinking is rooted in clarity and self-assurance, not the need for approval. At the same time, they are not arrogant or closed off. They remain open to new information and are willing to change their stance if given better reasoning or evidence. This combination of independence and humility gives their thinking a unique strength that is both bold and adaptable. Smart people are not afraid to stand alone in their thinking. They understand that thinking differently often means being misunderstood, doubted, or even criticized, but they don't let that stop them from pursuing what they believe is right. While many people seek validation and comfort in going along with the crowd, smart thinkers are guided more by their principles, logic, and vision than by public opinion. They know that progress sometimes requires challenging widely accepted norms or going against popular beliefs, even when it's uncomfortable. This ability to stand firm in their views doesn't come from stubbornness, it comes from a deep conviction based on careful thought and reasoning. Smart people take the time to research, analyze, and weigh evidence before forming conclusions. Reflection is the final, often overlooked element. Smart thinkers take time to step back from their experiences and analyze what they've learned. They ask themselves what worked, what didn't, and why. They don't rush from one task to the next without understanding the bigger picture. This reflective process helps them gain insights from both successes and failures, improving their decision-making and deepening their self-awareness. It's through this constant cycle of curiosity, openness, and reflection that anyone, not just those labeled as intelligent, can grow into a smarter, more thoughtful version of themselves. Being open-minded is another essential part of thinking smarter. Smart people understand that their perspective is not the only one and that truth can come from many different sources. They welcome different opinions, even those that challenge their own, because they know that being exposed to diverse viewpoints sharpens their thinking. Instead of reacting defensively when presented with new information, they pause, consider, and try to see the value in it. This openness allows them to expand their understanding and adapt more easily to change. Anyone can become a smarter thinker by being curious, open-minded, and reflective. Intelligence is not a fixed trait, it's a skill that can be cultivated over time through intentional effort and the right mindset. Smart people are not necessarily born with all the answers, rather they develop the habit of asking better questions. Curiosity drives them to explore new ideas, dig deeper into subjects, and constantly seek to understand how things work. They don't settle for surface-level knowledge, they want to know the why and the how behind everything, and this curiosity fuels lifelong learning. This kind of thinking requires a willingness to break free from the conventional. It means challenging deeply held beliefs, stepping outside comfort zones, and asking bold questions that others might avoid. Smart thinkers often imagine solutions to problems that others haven't even noticed yet. They connect dots across disciplines, finding inspiration in unexpected places and turning those insights into real-world applications. Whether it's designing new technology, rethinking business models, or reimagining social systems, thinking differently leads to transformative change. But innovation isn't just about the big breakthroughs. It's also about everyday improvements, seeing a more efficient way to work, a clearer way to communicate, or a kinder way to lead. Smart people apply creative thinking not only to grand visions, but also to practical challenges, and they inspire others to do the same. In this, thinking differently drives innovation and progress. The greatest advancements in human history, whether in science, technology, art, or social change, have come from individuals who refused to accept the world as it was and dared to imagine what it could be. Smart people understand that true progress doesn't come from doing what has always been done. It comes from seeing possibilities where others see limitations. They don't just look at what is, they focus on what could be. And they have the courage to pursue ideas that might initially seem impractical, unpopular, or even impossible. Moreover, embracing failure gives smart thinkers the freedom to take risks. They are not paralyzed by the fear of getting things wrong because they know that innovation often comes from trying things that have never been done before. By accepting failure as natural and necessary, they push boundaries and explore creative solutions without constantly worrying about perfection. This resilience and willingness to experiment is what enables them to grow faster, adapt more easily, and ultimately succeed in areas where others may give up too soon. In environments that reward only success and punish mistakes, smart people stand out by showing that progress is rarely a straight line. They lead by example, showing others that failure isn't something to hide from, but something to learn from, a stepping stone on the path to deeper understanding and greater accomplishments. Smart people recognize that no one reaches success without experiencing some form of failure along the way. Whether it's a failed experiment, a rejected proposal, a lost opportunity, or an idea that didn't take off, each misstep contains lessons that can't be learned from success alone. They take time to reflect on what went wrong and why, identifying the root causes rather than placing blame or making excuses. This analytical mindset allows them to bounce back stronger and more informed. They embrace failure as part of the learning process. Unlike many who fear making mistakes or view failure as a sign of weakness, smart people understand that failure is often the most powerful teacher. They don't let setbacks define their abilities or diminish their confidence. Instead, they see failure as valuable feedback and indication of what doesn't work, which helps them refine their ideas and improve their strategies. For them, failure is not the end of the road, but an essential step in the journey toward growth and achievement. This willingness to question even their own assumptions also makes smart people more open-minded and less ego-driven. They are not afraid to be proven wrong, because for them, being wrong is simply another step toward being more right. This intellectual humility is one of their greatest strengths. It allows them to learn continuously and to adapt in ways that others, trapped by their unchallenged beliefs, cannot. In essence, it's their ability to question what most accept without thought that gives them an edge in thinking, innovating, and leading. This mindset is particularly powerful in a world where change happens rapidly. What worked yesterday may not work today, and blindly following conventional wisdom can lead to stagnation. Smart people recognize that progress requires challenging the status quo. They don't question for the sake of being rebellious, but because they want to understand the truth at its core. Whether it's in science, business, education, or relationships, they apply critical thinking and ask, is there a better way to do this? Or is this belief still valid with the information we have now? Smart people question assumptions instead of blindly accepting them. They don't take things at face value simply because others do, or because it's always been that way. Instead, they have a natural curiosity that compels them to dig deeper, to ask why something is the way it is, and whether it could be different. They recognize that many of the ideas society accepts as normal or correct are often just habits, traditions, or beliefs passed down without scrutiny. By questioning assumptions, they open doors to new ways of thinking and problem solving that others might overlook. This kind of thinking doesn't come from textbooks, it comes from experiences, reflection, and an openness to challenge one's own beliefs. Smart people often surround themselves with diverse opinions, not because they want to be right all the time, but because they want to see the full picture. It's this broader, deeper way of thinking that sets them apart and helps them make better decisions in both personal and professional life. For example, Two people might have the same knowledge of a problem, but a smart thinker uses perspective to ask, what if we looked at it from a different angle? Or what assumptions are we making that might not be true? That mental flexibility allows them to navigate complex situations more effectively. Perspective also allows smart people to empathize with others, understanding that different people experience the world differently, and that truth isn't always absolute. Smart thinking goes beyond knowledge, it's about perspective. Many people assume that intelligence is measured purely by how much someone knows, the number of books they've read, the degrees they hold, or the facts they can recall. But true smartness lies in how someone interprets and applies what they know. Perspective is what separates someone who simply stores information from someone who transforms it into meaningful insights. A person with perspective sees connections where others see chaos, finds opportunity where others see failure, and understands nuance in situations where others see only black and white.